And hello, everyone. I'm your host, Darren Hyman, and today is Wednesday, November the 8th. And of course, you're watching Open, a live program bringing the Bronx to New York City straight to your TV set. Now, we want to encourage you to stay connected to us, and you can find out more about us at Twitter at BronxNet TV and Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. Well, a lot has definitely been going on over this busy week, and right now we'll catch you up with some local Bronx updates. Well, starting things off citywide, New York MTA employees are getting 230 iPhone 6s models. They'll be able to use those to help riders to be more informed about train disruptions. Now, 90 of the devices will go to E-train conductors and 140 to platform controllers. Conductors and platform controllers will be able to receive messages for the Rail Control Center for delays, as well as how long they're expected to last and the closest subway routes the riders can take. According to the MTA conductors, they're not allowed to read the messages while stopped at a station. Instead, the conductors will read the message after the doors have closed and the train has departed the station. They'll also be able to make phone calls to the control center just in case of an emergency. In other news, Twitter has announced they are now doubling on the amount of characters people could use to send their tweets. Now, instead of the usual 140 characters, Twitter users will now have 280 characters. The company says 9% of tweets written in English hit the 140 character limit, but most of the time, people are spent editing tweets or not sending them out at all. Twitter hopes that the expanded limit will get more people to tweet more. Now, users tweeting in Chinese, Japanese, and Korean are the only ones who will be keeping the original limit, since they can convey twice as more information in less space. Well, this past weekend, millions of New Yorkers participated in the New York City Marathon just days after a horrific terrorist attack in Lower Manhattan. Shalane Flanagan became the first woman to win the New York City Marathon in 40 years. Flanagan finished the course in 2 hours and 26 minutes and 53 seconds. More than 50,000 runners from across the world pushed themselves to the max, running a 26-mile stretch across the city's 5 boroughs. 30 years ago, Lauren Vanong, a Vietnamese refugee, had a life-and-death situation. She was later rescued. She had the opportunity to actually meet up with the people that rescued her and her family nearly 30 years ago. Our reporter, Tatiana Parrish, brings us the inspiring story.
Emotions were high as Lauren Vuong walked down the steps at Maritime College to be reunited with mariners who rescued her family over 30 years ago.
It was your words to the captain that saved us. I don't know how to thank you enough for my parents, for my children.
In 1980, the Vuong family, among political refugees, fled from Vietnam after the war. After the rescue, the Vuong family settled in the United States. With time, Lauren became a successful lawyer in San Francisco, and with that, she began her 20-year search that led her to this moment.
Beyond any dream that I could have had, I first started looking for them in 1991, and it was really important to me to be able to give them this gift, to be able to say thank you in person.
Leaving at night during the worst storm season to avoid detection, the family became lost at sea for 10 days. As many ships passed by, it became clear their hope was fading.
We thought we were going to die, and when the ship appeared, it's heaven.
Well, it's a tremendous experience. It wasn't for my sister, I wouldn't even know these people existed.
I've heard so many stories from my mom about the event and how we were rescued and who rescued us, and it's incredible that my sister's been able to follow through with that and we're able to meet the people.
The LNG Virgo, a ship used to transport fuel from Indonesia to Japan, came to the aid of 62 refugees stranded at sea.
5 days after leaving Osaka, Japan, the word was out that there's a boat in distress in the water, and the captain made a decision to stop the ship and assist the people in the boat.
Kenny and I were the two that went aboard the boat. Kenny was on the boat picking children up and the adult, and I was on the foot of the gangway, and he passed them up.
It was purely out of compassion and seeing that these people were in distress. They were certainly signaling us that they were in distress, which is something that as a mariner, you answer that call.
The witnesses of the reunion gathered in the heart of Maritime College's museum for the unveiling of a special gift from the Vietnamese American community.
It's our pleasure to dedicate this bronze to the museum.
It's ships like the LNG Virgo that have saved close to 3,000 lives of Vietnamese refugees, just like the Vuong family. From BronxNet, Tatiana Parrish.
Thank you, Tatiana. Warming story there. Well, we have to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more Open right after this.